Hello everyone! Today we are going to be discussing digital literacy and computational thinking. The South Carolina Digital Literacy and Computer Science, or Computational Thinking Standards, are standards for South Carolina public schools and currently for grades kindergarten through 8th. The standards provide different ways to embed or teach academic standards in the content areas of mathematics, language arts, science, and social studies, along with the aid of the digital literacy standards. The standards were finalized in May of 2017, and districts are now expected to implement these standards in the beginning of the 2018-2019 academic school year. Districts will be given the preference to choose how to implement and document the use of the South Carolina Computer Science and Digital Literacy Standards. The standards are intended to support the teaching and addition of digital literacy and computational thinking. What are the South Carolina Digital Literacy and Computer Science Standards? South Carolina Computer Science and Digital Literacy Standards were developed to expand the knowledge of computer science education to all students in South Carolina in response to the growing number of employment opportunities related to the field of computer science. All students in South Carolina, in grades kindergarten through 8th, should have the opportunity to learn all of the information in the standards to better prepare for their future world of communications. The standards include content standards that represent a balance of conceptual and procedural knowledge and specify the computer science content that students should master in each grade level. Conceptual knowledge is the knowledge in relationships and understanding, while procedural knowledge is the knowledge applied in performance of a task. It also includes process standards, which describe the ways in which students will individually and collaboratively engage with the content standards. Why are these standards so important? To students, these standards are important because there are a growing number of employment opportunities, including technology. It is beneficial for higher education, and it gives all students the opportunity to develop the world-class knowledge, skills, and life and career characteristics stated in the profile of a South Carolina graduate. For our state, country, and society, the standards are important because it better prepares the next generation of employees, as well as keeping us up with technology and digital literacy around the world. The content standards and the process standards work together to enable all students to develop their world-class knowledge, skills, and life and career characteristics identified in the profile of a South Carolina graduate. This profile contains world-class knowledge, including rigorous standards in language arts and math for career and college readiness. Under world-class skills, it includes creativity and innovation, collaboration and teamwork, as well as much more. Life and career characteristics include integrity, global perspective, perseverance, intrapersonal skills, and many more. This also works in connection to our society as South Carolina prepares its students for careers or higher education after graduation. They use vital world-class knowledge, which is supported by the rigorous grade-level content standards. The skill and life and career characteristics are identified in the South Carolina Computer Science and Digital Literacy Process Standards. If you want to know more about the South Carolina Digital Literacy and Computer Science or Computational Thinking Standards, check out the proposed standards posted to the public. These documents give an insight to why South Carolina chose these standards and what makes them so relevant and important to us.
Computational thinking is a problem-solving process that includes a number of characteristics and dispositions. Some elements of computational thinking are decomposition, which is the breakdown of data and problems into manageable parts, pattern recognition, which is observing patterns in parts, abstraction, which is identifying principles of data that generate these patterns, and algorithm design, which is step-by-step instructions for solving problems. Computational thinking is important because it's problem-solving across all disciplines, including humanities and math and science. Some examples of computational thinking are the possible breakdown and analysis of a poem into rhyme or imagery or even diction, or possibly in an economy class, finding the cycle of patterns and the rise and drop of the country's economy. These two examples use pattern recognition and decomposition. Computational thinking can be used throughout every classroom. Computational thinking fits into the ISTE standards for educators through the two standards of leader and designer. Leader falls into computational thinking because teachers can help students solve problems across all areas of studying. Also, designer falls into computational thinking. Teachers can create activities based around computational thinking to help further their students' knowledge. For students, innovative designer and computational thinking fall into computational thinking. Students use a variety of technologies within a design process to identify and solve problems. Students can use computational thinking to design these. Computational thinking falls into the computational thinking ISTE standard because students develop and employ strategies for understanding and solving problems in ways that leverage the power of technological methods to develop and test solutions. Two standards I found for computational thinking were the 7th grade South Carolina Standard 1, use software applications to create an authentic product. Students can create a presentation, possibly Google Slides or even Google Docs. Using these presentation softwares will give students opportunities to break down the presentation softwares into manageable parts. Also, for the 6th grade South Carolina Standard 1, analyze the use of computing to solve relevant problems. For algorithm design, you can identify relevant problems and how they are solved by using computer science. You can use computational thinking by identifying the problem and using algorithm design to find a step-by-step solution for your problem. If you want to further your knowledge on computational thinking, I've attached a link where you can find future lesson plans that you can use to base your teachings around computational thinking. It includes puzzles, activities, and tips from teachers on how to use computational thinking in your future classroom.
What is digital literacy? Digital literacy is the ability to use information and communication technologies to find, evaluate, create, and communicate information requiring both cognitive and technical skills. Why is digital literacy important? Digital literacy can be categorized into three components: finding and consuming digital content, creating digital content, and communicating or sharing it. Online reading, where a digital text is read through the internet, requires a host of additional skills, such as hyperlinks, videos, audio clips, images, interactive graphics, share buttons, or a comment section. These features not only require the students to read, but to stop and make decisions. Digital literacy refers to creating different forms of media, such as email, blogs, tweets, videos, or podcasts. It also enhances the way we communicate with each other. What are some examples of digital literacy? Some examples include understanding how to use web browsers, search engines, email, blogs, Photoshop, PowerPoint, video creation software to showcase learning, evaluating online resources for accuracy or trustworthiness of information, using online classes to enhance learning in the classroom, choosing appropriate media to showcase learning, encouraging students to use technology, using the web, and also students and teachers creating online content to be utilized both in and out of the classroom. How does this topic fit into the ISTE standards for teachers and for students? Some of the examples I found for teachers included the learner and designer standards. For instance, teachers fit into the IST standards through the learner standard by continually improving their practice by learning and improving their knowledge of technology in the classroom to improve the quality of student learning. Digital literacy also fits into the designer standard because educators use digital literacy to design and create new ways of learning inside the classroom that provide different environments to increase the variety of their learning. The two examples I found for students were under Digital Citizen and Innovative Designer standards. For instance, the Digital Citizen standard resembles how students become aware of their digital identity, and know the permanence that comes with their actions taking place in the digital world. And they learn these ideas through digital literacy. Another example is demonstrated through the Innovative Designer Standard. Therefore, students are challenged by digital literacy to use and understand a variety of digital tools to identify and solve problems.
The fourth grade South Carolina Digital Literacy Standard number 3 entails that students should be able to show responsibility with computer devices. Also, educators should use apps, show society relationships with apps, expressive activities with technology, show their students how to recognize scam, cyberbullying, legal and illegal processes online. Also, the fifth grade South Carolina Digital Literacy Standard number 2 goes into digital citizenship, and that students must always watch themselves. Students must be aware of what they view online and what they also put online. And as a teacher, it should be vital in your coursework to ensure that your students know these things so they can be digital literate and actually be digital literate citizens in the working world and the real world outside of the classroom.